Hey YouTube, if you want to learn how to take the fear out of cutting short haircuts, then definitely watch today's video. What's going on YouTube? Steven, the Salon Guy here, and this video is going to be targeted more towards professional hairstylists as a step-by-step tutorial. But if you're a regular client and you find this video interesting and helpful, then definitely obviously watch along. But one of the biggest challenges that I've noticed throughout my career is short hair, and especially the fear of cutting short hair. So what if a client comes into the salon and she says, I love my hair, but I want something much shorter. And you're already saying, wait, shorter than this? And you just automatically started freaking out because you're thinking it's short, okay? So I'm gonna help you guys eliminate the fear, okay? The first thing you need to do is just be confident in your skills. You're a professional. I don't know how much training you may have or what your skill level is, but you are a professional hairstylist. You went to school. You've probably done a lot of education. You've probably cut short haircuts like this before. Just be confident and own up to it, okay? Don't be afraid. Also, practice. Practice doing short haircuts on mannequins. That's also another great tip, is you need the practice, because the better you are, right, it's from practicing. I like to work on dry hair sometimes, especially when I'm going much shorter, or I'll wash it and then blow dry it so that the hair is dry, especially if I'm using clippers. So what I wanna do today is I want to go in and start cutting this. I'm going to use clippers on this throughout the sides and the back, and we're gonna actually take this down into a nice kind of textured pixie cut, or even like a faux hawk style. So let's get started. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in the back and then work around through both sides. And I'm starting with a number 4 guard. Let's do it. So I've noticed when cutting hair on women's hair, when it's short like this, like a pixie cut, they're not afraid to go short, okay? I've had clients come in where we started off going a little bit longer, somewhat to this, and then they said, let's go a little bit shorter. So don't be afraid to go shorter, okay? They're coming in for a short haircut, and be confident that whatever you do is gonna look good on them. So basically all I'm doing is I'm creating my first section. All right, and it's a very similar approach to a men's haircut, okay? So I would do this for whether it's on a male or a female head. And all I'm looking to do right now is to create my perimeter of where it's gonna be the shortest point, all right? And then what we do from the shortest point is we obviously then work up to the longest point. So I always like to go shorter first and then work up to longer. So we're done with the back now, all right? And as you can see, we breezed through this pretty quickly because it's on dry hair. If this was on wet hair, it literally would not be cutting as efficiently. It would not be grabbing all the hair. So that's why I like doing it on dry hair. So here we go. Don't be afraid, right into the sides here. Yes, it's gonna be short. Yes, it's gonna be, somewhat shocking at first to you, but rest assured, let the client know that it's gonna look phenomenal. And that's why I always like to go shortest around the ear first, because sometimes if they say, oh my God, it's so short, which hopefully they won't. But if you start lowest here, then you have time to kind of back out and say, okay, well, I won't go as short moving up, and you have a little bit of freedom into here. So even that looks good. If we just tapered it around here and left some length. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue throughout the entire head. And I know you're seeing a harsh line right into here, but I'm purposely doing that because this is going to be our shortest point to work in, and then we'll go up longer in through here. So I'm gonna do this on the other side, and then we'll come back. All right, so what we've done is we've created our line in through here, which is our shortest point. Now I'm gonna extend the guard up. I'm gonna flip the handle, so we went from this to now this, and I'm gonna continue working throughout this, going longer and longer. So I want to skip through all this and fast forward a bit so you can see kind of the progress. So let's do it. The scariest part for most people is over, which is the shortest part. Everybody gets freaked out by cutting hair short, so don't worry about it. So now that this is done, what we're doing simply is now we're just going longer, and I'm gonna be using a number 5 guard for this one right into here. And I think the number 5 guard is gonna be a nice transition because we're going like 4, then 5. And then once we get around this area, then we'll start using scissor over comb to where you guys will start to feel more comfortable, hopefully. So let's use this and create some soft blending into here, and then we'll jump in to use the scissors. So as you can see, the transition is going nice and smooth. And you know, one thing that's gonna help take your fear away is obviously doing this more and more so you feel comfortable with cutting shorter haircuts like this on women. And also men too. I mean, there's a lot of stylists that are afraid really to cut hair on men. But you know, I think once you get used to working with it and you get confident of seeing, you know, what the clipper is gonna do, don't be afraid to use a clipper on a female. You know, just explain to them you know what you're doing and you've done this before and you're very, very confident in your work. And, you know, you can do this whole thing by hand if you want, but it's going to take a bit longer, obviously. But, you know, I think it's a matter of you just practicing and having a vision in your mind of what you want the end result to be, especially with short hair, because once it's too short, then guess what? It's gone, and then you have a problem. So I think what you need to really do is have a clear vision from the very, very start of what you want and what your client wants, okay? So now what we've done is I've created the shortest part through here, and now we're gonna be going over with scissor over comb. Also, keep in mind, I didn't cut this corner out in through here, meaning I didn't chop this off to right here. I'd rather do it by hand, you know, right in through here in case I wanna cut this a bit shorter or if I wanna leave some length. So definitely be careful and don't cut all of this off. Work into this toward when you're working on the top. It's very, very, very crucial. So you can either start to cut this while it's dry, all right, which is what I usually like to do, is I like to work off of dry hair when I'm doing the, you know, more of the scissor over comb, more of the blending, because again, I can really, really see everything happening right before my eyes, to where if it was wet and I was trying to blend everything in, it just, in my experiences, does not work out too well. You know, you always end up having harsh lines and you gotta go back in. So what we're doing is just kind of the preliminary blending right now. And, you know, we're gonna go back in and kind of refine this, obviously. But this is gonna be the start of, you know, where we're taking this haircut, because now we're working into the top. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to actually wet this head down, because this was laying in the back with 15 other mannequins over it. And I want to create a little bit of a better canvas to work off of. So let's spray it down and come right back. So I sprayed the mannequin head down, and now it's time to work in through connecting the back part here with the top. So I'm going to hold this straight out from the head, and I'm going to cut it straight out from the head as well. So keep in mind, it really depends on the type of look that you want. If you do want to leave a little bit of length, then it's best to hold everything straight out and follow that pattern. But however short you cut this, right, that's gonna determine the entire top of the head. Because the last thing you wanna do is leave this really, really long and then cut this really short. It's gonna look horrible. Or the opposite, you don't wanna have this, you know, super, super short and then this really, really long, unless that's the look you're going for. And what I'm doing is I'm really just focusing right into this area right here, kind of like the center of the top of the head, because I think that's crucial, because really I work on the top, the corners, and the sides. So that's also gonna help you stay focused, because you know exactly what area you're gonna be cutting. And when you break it down step by step and you simplify things for yourself, it's just gonna make it so much easier as you're cutting. Not only for this haircut, but for future haircuts as well. So I always like to kind of mix between, you know, pulling it out from the head and scissor over comb, because I just think it gives a nice combination of techniques. And it's also really, really crucial to constantly keep the blade and the comb moving, okay? It's almost like barbering in a sense, where, you know, you wanna always keep something continuous, or else you may get lost in it. So now we are going to be working this part into the top, because now we've connected this all. So I'm gonna be taking horizontal sections. I have my guide right there, and I'm literally cutting straight across. So there we go. Now, right in this panel again, right in through here, right down the middle is where we are going to be focusing on. and I'm taking sections, working horizontally right into here, because again, this is the top of the head, not the corners. So let's continue all the way to the very front and through here, and notice my arm, my elbow position is parallel. I don't want you guys doing this, dropping the arm. You got to keep that arm up and level. First of all, it makes you look more professional, and it helps keep you balanced when you're cutting. I see the arm drop all the time, and it just really drives me crazy, right? The better the body positioning, the better the haircut's gonna come out. So now we're done with the front right through here, okay? We'll come back to clean this up afterwards. Now it's time for the corner. So again, the corner is right where the round of the head happens, right into here. So what are we gonna do? Comb it straight out from the head, and we're going to cut that off, okay? I always like cutting the corners for the most part, just because, you know, it really depends on the shape, honestly, but for me, it just grows out so much better, and I don't wanna have a lot of hair through here because it just doesn't look right. So now we're left with this. This is the actual side. So one of two things. You can comb it straight out from the head and use your fingers like that, or you can do scissor over comb. It really, really depends. You know, you mapped out this haircut so nicely that basically all the work is done for you. You're just following the pattern. What I always like to do now is go back in and do scissor over comb to blend it. Even though you hold it straight out from the head, scissor over comb to me is one of the best methods for blending and connecting haircuts. It also allows you to see what's happening with the hair lengths, right? If it's too long, if it's too short, whatever. But I think this is one of the best techniques and methods for cutting short haircuts. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we're good into here. What we're gonna do is the same thing on the other side. So one thing I like to mention, and I do this to all my haircuts, is that I'm standing in the same exact position. All you need to do is turn your client so that their face is facing you. And I'm literally keeping myself in a very good position and good body posture. I'm not coming over the top, meaning I'm not flipping around and cutting down this way. It's just really not good for your posture and for your back. So I'm literally just standing in the same spot, and all I did was turn the mannequin head. So follow the same pattern, and then we'll go scissor over comb right in through here. And as you can see, you know, once you have a good flow, and once you cut short hair and you see the results from what you're doing, that really is crucial. So don't be afraid to practice on mannequins. Don't be afraid to watch tutorials. I have dozens and dozens and dozens of tutorials on short haircuts, and you can learn so much just from watching my videos, you know? And there's a lot of great videos out there. It's just a matter of taste of who you like to watch. All right, so now I'm just refining, which you can do towards the end, but I'm just lightly doing scissor over comb right in through here to make sure it's all blended. And notice I'm extending all the way up this way as well. Okay, cool. So we're done in through here. All right, now you're saying this is all done, but I'm still scared because what about all this hair? So it really depends, guys, on your end result. What kind of look do you want to achieve? You know what, this doesn't look too bad. Having a little bit of length here will allow the client to kind of sweep it over, all right, which will look fun. You know, you could say to them, do you want it short to where you can kind of spike it and piece it up and really, really low maintenance, or do you want something to have a little more, you know, softness coming in through the top here? So it really depends on you guys. But one thing you do want to make sure is that you go back in right here and you blend everything, okay? Because you want to make sure it's somewhat connected, that as it grows out, it just doesn't look like it's one big clump of hair, you know, that's hanging down from here. So now see, we softened this up, we connected this. You know, one thing I will suggest is if you kind of stand in front and you can even it out a bit. So just make sure that you are kind of having some balance in through here. So let's dry it and see how it looks, and then we'll come back. I think it looks phenomenal, right? It looks really, really nice. One thing I do suggest is going in with some thinning shears here, just to really lightly go through the entire haircut and to soften up any sort of edges or any pieces that you think may be heavy. This is a great way to really help the haircut as it grows out. So my goal of any haircut, especially on short hair, is that it grows out really, really, really good. So I want someone to get 3 months out of their haircut at least, especially on short hair. And I have loads of clients that stretch their haircuts anywhere from, I would say 2 months to sometimes 6 months, all right? And I know you're probably going, how the heck do you make any money? But I'd rather have somebody come in, you know, not as frequently, and their hair looks phenomenal, and be known for giving outstanding haircuts than cutting someone's hair and it looks good for 3 weeks and they have to come back because it's just losing its shape, all right? That's the kind of professional that I am. All right, so what I wanna do is add some texture. This is the best part right here. Again, this is for someone who's experienced, and I would suggest practicing this, but what I'm doing is I'm twisting the hair and just taking out some of the weight to make a little bit more of a softer connection right in through here. All right, this is a really, really good texturizing technique. What you're not trying to do is you're not trying to thin out the hair, so I'm not going down to the scalp, but I'm just cutting this between the mid shaft here towards the ends, and all it's doing is it's breaking up that solid look and creating some really cool texture in through here, all right? So now we've got this front bit right in through here. I think it looks actually pretty cool like this, but it also looks like one big clump of hair hanging down in through here. So let's add some texture to it. The best way for this that I think is to use a razor right into the front here. So this is a feather razor, okay? It's a widely used tool. And the best way to do this is to take the hair into like points, like this. Take one section, do this when it's dry, and slice down on the ends, okay? This is where you're gonna be taking the length off. So you're determining where you're going to be cutting this. And yes, you wanna make sure it's somewhat balanced, obviously, but this is where you can also have a little more freedom to make it a little more textured and wispy, and to create some kind of, you know, I would say uneven and jagged areas right through here, because the razor actually allows it to be much softer. So as you can see, we still left some length, but now we've got a much more kind of jagged shape, so that if somebody did wear their hair down, it's still gonna look really, really cool like this. So now the haircut is complete, and let's do some different styling options. So because you're giving a phenomenal haircut, believe it or not, you can actually wear this without any product whatsoever. And sometimes people love that, where they can just wake up, they can you know, style their hair, wash it, blow dry it, and literally just run their fingers through it, and no matter what they do, their hair is gonna look phenomenal. And that's the goal of the haircut for me, is that, you know, I want them to look good. I want their hair to look fun, look sexy, and look sophisticated, no matter what they do to it. So the low maintenance factor is really key for this. All right, now let's say if somebody wants to kind of amp it up a little bit. I love using talc, which is my matte styling powder. It's an amazing styling product, a really, really great product to use. It's simple, and I'm gonna show you guys how to use it. You can dab it into the hair like this, and as you can see, the white powder is literally just coming into the hair like this. It's great for men and women. Or you can squeeze it, and little clouds of dust will come out. It looks like dust, but it's my product, talc. And again, this isn't actually talc powder. I just named it talc powder. It's only got a handful of ingredients. And here we go. So what this is doing, it's adding a lot of texture and adding a lot of pieciness, as you can see, which a lot of times people want in these types of hairstyles. So if somebody did want to go for more of like a fun little faux hawk type look, or wants to go a little more spiky and edgy, you can do it, okay? This product literally is so easy to use. It's great for men and women, like I mentioned. This is also a great hairstyle for men too. But this is done literally in seconds, and it'll last throughout the day. You can just kind of fluff your hair up a little bit, and there we have the finished result. All right, YouTube, I had a lot of fun doing this tutorial today, and if you're a professional hairstylist or a student or even a barber, let me know if you found this video helpful. This method or these techniques I did could be used on men and women, but hopefully I helped you take the fear out of cutting short hair, because I used to have that fear too. So let me know in the comments below if it did help. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell so you're notified of when my videos go live 3 days a week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more videos with The Salon Guy.